Hi everybody, Belmon Meta here, and this is now part 3 of me going through my favorites list on fanfiction.net. We got 4 stories today, and this is going to be finishing up the stories published in 2003. And yeah, just the fact that only 8 in 2003 tells you there's going to be a lot more. It's obviously going to be a lot more bunched up when it gets to the later years, but okay, so let's just get right into them. First one is a story called Realizations. It's a Harry Potter fanfic about abandonment. Basically, after Goblet of Fire, summer, Harry goes back and he's at the train station and there for a long time, and hey, his Dursleys never show up. So he makes his way back home by himself, only to find out that the Dursleys have decided to get the fuck out. And he's all by himself, and because Dumbledore's been like, oh, it's dangerous, don't talk to your friends, he decides to make the best of it of himself. It goes on a bit further, but the story was never finished. It's still really well written and gets you in the feels. Like, you feel for him and Harry's sadness and abandonment at losing, even that little bit of the constant presence of them in their lives, even if he didn't like them. He grows at a relatively realistic rate as an actual kid. He acts like not just the superhero that he becomes in the stories. And there is an OC, a few OCs, but they're not like Mary Sue's or anything, just normal people that end up joining the cast of characters. It's all done really well. I really enjoy it. And again, it was never finished, but it's still well worth the read. Decently long. So still definitely enjoyable and worth the time. So that is definitely staying on my list. The next one after that is, another Zentrodie fic. Which, yeah, like I said, I have a bunch of his stuff. It's Evangelion crossed with Onegai Teacher, which is an anime about, this kid, high school student who ends up, finding an alien, and then the alien, has to hide out as his teacher, and they had to pretend to be married. It's odd, but it's just mostly a fluff thing. I think the anime is 13 episodes. It's been a while since I've seen it, but it's inoffensive. It's just a normal anime. Nothing really super great about it, but nothing harmful or annoying either. So this story actually is about a weapons test occurs in Evangelion and Shinji, and then so Shinji seems to black out and then wakes up in the Onegai Teacher universe as the main character, Kei. And Kei had a problem where he would essentially go into a stasis-like state for times. He called it withdrawing. So it seems like he just woke up from withdrawal and Shinji's there instead. And then life goes on in that one where he's thinking maybe the Evangelion stuff was just a dream, and then boom, he withdraws, and then he's now back in the Evangelion world. And so what's going on? And it just keeps going back and forth for a while. And romances in both universes develop and things like that. Again, the relationships are well written. Shinji starts growing a backbone again. That's the thing that I like. I like Evangelion. It's one of my favorite animes, and Shinji getting a spine in a realistic manner, not just all of a sudden not deciding not to give a shit, but actually growing as a person, is something that I really enjoy. And if there's a story on my list, usually it'll have some element of that in there for Evangelion. The relationships, again, it's interesting. Both of them have love triangles on both universe sides, and issues come up, and the Zentrodie makes connections with the characters that I'm not entirely sure are fake, or just from his writing, or if they actually, just looking at the characters objectively, do exist. It's interesting, and I like it. The ending is, again, so his last ending where he had 2 that let you pick. This one still lets you pick, but in the sense that it is completely vague. and it is just okay. Like these actions happen, but it doesn't tell you who does what or how it occurs. So it's up to you to decide what happened. And I think it's still good. It gives the reader more input in the story and lets them choose where they want to go. I liked it a lot, and it's staying on my list. And it's a good read. Again, it's shorter, not super long, but it's still the length of like a novel. I could just, looking at it right now, let me see, it is 91,000 words, and that's another thing, just letting you know right now, a lot of the stories on this list are going to be really long, and like it's listed in word count and not pages, which is something I get most people don't understand, or just are not used to. Let me put it this way, most novels and that are usually 70 to 100,000 words. Like I think the first few Harry Potter books were not over 100,000 words. I think the first 3 are still all under 100,000. So that kind of puts into perspective that like this one story is this one fan-written story is 91,000 words. It's basically as long as Prisoner of Azkaban, I think. So just keep that in mind. Like when I say that's why these things take time. I'm reading books for this, and also I was really sick the last few days, so that's also why it's been slow. But okay, moving on. The next story is called Brightly Burning, and this is a story based on Hikaru no Go. I read this. I didn't read the manga, sorry. I watched the anime during one of the summers in high school. I think it was 07. But I watched it all in once, I watched the 70 episodes in one sitting. And all I can remember is like, wow, this is what all the card game and stuff animes have like tried to, or like came up from, especially Yu-Gi-Oh, because like it had the whole ghost mentor type thing and other stuff. But the fanfic itself, I read shortly before I started this. I read it because I found it in CV12 Hornets list. He talked about it in that thread, and I decided to look at it, and I liked it a lot. His description was interesting enough for me to give it a look. I'm not a huge Hikaru no Go fan. I've read a few fics, not that many, probably 10 or less, like because I watched the show. I didn't like it I didn't like it that much. It started to just get boring for me, but this one's interesting. Again, it's one that was never finished, so that's irritating, especially because it's an interesting conceit. The main story goes with the main character Hikaru. In the show, like he goes to salons and stuff and becomes well known as a player and becomes a professional like from the get-go. Here, he decides to just play online until the incident occurs where he loses his ghost friend, and then he decides to become a professional, and it's just about his rise and how everybody reacts to him in the professional Go world. The biggest interesting thing about this story is that it's not told from the main character's perspective. Like, Hikaru is the main character, but it is not told from his point of view. It is told from everybody else's points of view. And it changes every now and then, like sometimes multiple times in the same chapter. But so you're always just seeing how everybody is reacting to him, but you don't know what he's thinking or how he feels or what he's actually doing, everything. It's just how the world is reacting to him, which is a very interesting conceit. I've only read, I can't remember if there's one or a few more on this list, but I remember reading at least one or two more types like this. But like just that novelty alone would make it stay on the list. But the writing is good. You know, it's interesting, and even though the fact that since it jumps from multiple people's perspective, some like ideas and realizations occur multiple times because it's different characters realizing the same thing. But it's still good. There's a couple formatting issues in the first two chapters, but it gets cleaned up afterwards, so it's fine. It's well worth a read. It's not as long as the others, even though it was never finished. But I get that the fact that it was, that's something for realizations as well. The fact that it wasn't finished will leave you like, either if you do like it, it'll leave you wanting more and maybe make you feel disappointed. But it's still a good thing to look at, just to see how the idea of the third, like the outside main character looking in perspective, that makes it interesting. So that's Burden Brightly, and that's gonna stay on my list. Okay, and number 4, the final story that I'll be reading that I've read so far is Flying Without a Broom by Ruskbyte. This is another story that was never finished. But it's pure stupidity. Not in the sense of Scenes of Life which was just a like random scenes collection. This is just, you know what, I'll just go in. So it's a slight thing where like, this is takes place in 6th year, and Tonks, the Metamorphagus, the shapeshifter girl, is undercover at Hogwarts to protect Harry, and then during one Hogsmeade trip, Harry gets like dosed with some drugs and basically becomes high as a kite and starts doing crazy shit because he's high and has magic. So, and basically it's just, they're worried that he's not going to be safe, so they're running to catch him and save him while he's doing random stupid shit and going crazy. And each chapter is like crazy shit after crazy shit after crazy shit, jumping insane. Not very long. It's, I think, 30,000 words, but it's, which I know considering what I just said previously, but it honestly, like, you'll see from later stuff that like 30,000 words is not long at all. I read this in half an hour probably, because it's that, but this is like, it's really fast paced, constantly jumping from place to place, really funny, just stupid shit happening, and just, it's entertaining, and there's no huge grammatical errors or spelling errors. Formatting is fine. The characters, it's just fun to see all this stupid stuff happening, and it's just enjoyable. Like, it's just a shot of fun to have, so it's definitely staying on my list. And if you want to just see some stupidness, I'd say check it out. It's fun. Like I said, it's fun. And that puts an end to this video and the four I've read. The next ones, so the next video, it's gonna be a while, because and it might only be 2 stories, because I'm just looking at the length of the next 2 stories, and those 2 stories together are 500,000 words. Like, that is more than War and Peace, just FYI, word-wise. So it is going to be a while, but hopefully you guys are interested. So I have never done this. I don't say this usually. I don't say this, but hey, if you guys like the video or like this series, please like, comment. If you want to see more, obviously, and you want to know when the next one's up, subscribe, and they'll come up. I'll try and get them out when I can. I mean, I'm currently on fall break. I'm not working right now. I have stuff, so maybe I'll get them done sooner than I did this last video. But yeah, we'll see what happens. If the ones after those 2 are shorter, I'll try and read them and put them on that video as well. I feel like 2 stories is a little short for a video, but we'll see. But yeah, that was these 4 so far. I believe I'm 9 for 9. I think it's 9. Let me just see. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. So right now, 9. I've read 9 stories, and 9 of them have stayed on my list. So that's kind of good. I'm kind of happy about that. I'm sure there's some that's gonna be taken off, and you're gonna see some things that are just like, yeah, this was really stupid. I don't know why I added this, but we'll see. But again, like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.